Well, hi folks. Here we are, Sunday, October 18th. Trust everybody's fine. Have some important links in the discussion part of this video. And it's interesting, the first one is a warning about the economy to the average individual out there. As we're still distracted with the Wuhan masquerade waltz and all the other shenanigans that the lockdowns and everything else that governments are pulling. And it's basically taking our mind off the fact that they've trashed the friggin' economy. And there's going to be a major reset. And I know I still talk to people who think that's all BS. Well, all I can say is come back when it happens. But it's interesting because there's so many distractions going on. Of course, the economy. Look after your assets. That's an important thing. Look after yourself. And as they say, and if there's warnings and hints coming out of here, there could be some food and shortages. So when you think about it, what we really need is we need air, we need water, we need food, we need shelter, and a stick to keep the assholes away, sort of thing. So one has to when you look after yourself and your assets, keep those basics in mind. But there's something else I want to talk about as well. We're paying attention to the Biden affair and all the scandals in the U.S., the Russian collusion hoax and all of that sort of thing. But did you know we're having that going on in Canada as well? And we're not aware of that. Why? Because some of us who understand what the hell's going on laugh at CNN and NBC and ABC and all the propaganda tools out there. But our CBC and CTV aren't much different. You notice they're not really hammering about these sort of items. And the first thing is, if you look at the Trudeau Liberal scandals that are going on. Of course, we have the WE scandal. And I've got a clip in there as how the Liberals are sort of just pulling shenanigans, trying to eat up time not to get to the grist of the thing. And you've got to remember, we're paying these assholes over $200,000 a year plus. Plus, we're paying for all the infrastructure to have these investigations. And these guys are behaving like middle school bullies. I mean, we all know guys that we went to school who would waste a whole lot of time thinking they're smart and cute and doing nothing, but taking up time that we could have really done more with. And you'll notice none of those people are on a track team, a football team, a basketball team, or a wrestling team because they were losers. They just swelled heads and thought they were somebody. They weren't even on any honor rolls because most of the football team was there and we knew who was there. So as we look at these shenanigans that are going on in Ottawa, we have to be alarmed. And people got to stand up and say, what the hell are you guys doing? Well, people don't have jobs, businesses gone out of business, everybody's struggling. These yahoos are having a crazy time on our money. And they're not doing anything. They're stonewalling. And if there is nothing to hide in that WE scandal, throw the documents out and let the investigative committees do their work. Quit stonewalling. Here's a bigger one. You may have heard that the Chinese are trying to buy the TMAC Hope Bay gold mine up in Nunavut, up in the Arctic. And here's the thing to think about. They're investigating it for a security purpose, which is smart, but I think it doesn't take a whole lot of genius to say you do not sell the Chinese a port city in the Arctic. Well, it's not a city, but it potentially could be. It's like saying you're going to sell the port of San Diego to the Chinese. The port of Esquimalt, the Navy base in Esquimalt, you're going to sell that to the Chinese. It's friggin' ridiculous. What else can you call that? So I've got several links to that property, and It's one of the few places supposedly they find gold on the surface, and you know how gold mining prospectuses are. You know, the shotgun into the rocks, but apparently this has some high possibilities. Now, are the Chinese buying it for gold or for the strategic location? For the strategic location, and you can look that up on any map. You can check that out. Now we have some links there to show you the location. It's got a small airport. It's got a seaport, possibility of a big seaport, and of course access to the Arctic. They see a way through the Arctic. And we know what China is doing in the South China Sea. We know what they're doing to Hong Kong. We know what they're trying to do to Taiwan and other places in the world. So I'm not sure why we are sitting on our hands having a long investigation whether we should let this deal go through or not. I know that you've got to cross the T's and dot the I's, but it's a no-brainer. Another intriguing thing, when you're thinking of that, you're thinking of the Liberal government looking at the possibility of making this deal go through. And it's any company like that out of China is the CCP. It's simple. Anybody in grade 3 who still can critically think realizes that. But here's another thing. The Trudeau Foundation, a Chinese billionaire connected to the CCP. I'll let you go through. Rebel News has just sort of broken this a couple of days ago. Now, CBC isn't talking about it. CTV isn't talking about it. Our major newspapers, are they talking about it? Well, maybe the Financial Post might kick an article in. But this, we watch the Bidens and the Chinese, the Bidens and the Ukrainians. We'll watch the Trudeaus and the Chinese. Watch Trudeau and the Chinese. We should really be sitting up and paying attention to this thing. I mean, the government we have they're behaving like clowns. I mean, we have documents and contracts missing, millions of dollars. They don't know where the money went, where the contracts are. If they do, they're not telling us. Why wouldn't they tell us? Maybe it's like the we thing, went to their buddies. Who knows? It's sort of intriguing. It's sort of intriguing. And sometimes, as Canadians, we're a little bit smug. We look at other countries and what's going on, and we're sort of pointing the finger. Time to point a finger at Ottawa. You get our fingers out of our asses, point them at Ottawa, and say, "Come on, people, get real, get real." And I think as you look at that, you look at the possibility of the average person's what could possibly happen to the average person here when this economy all falls apart. Well, these clowns are doing all sorts of shit, trying to sort of build up their own portfolios and their own trust funds and their own goals and aims. You never wonder why politicians retire rich? Well, this is a good example of why. Look at the Biden story. And Trudeau has his foundation, same as the Clintons, same as the Gates. So all these guys have their own foundations. And look who's pouring money into it. The Chinese government pouring money into Trudeau's foundation, and now they're looking at buying a strategic location in the Arctic Circle. And Trudeau has been thinking about it. What's there to think about? What's there to think about? But anyway, check it out yourself and see. I think it's disastrous. We need more accountable government than that. I mean, we're being led down the path to a pure socialist state where we have no say at all. Where China has rehabilitation centers where they send people. They have compounds where they send people. Well, did you know that maybe Canada's building their compounds as well? They might call them COVID compounds, but think about that. Think about that. There's a whole lot of hell coming down the road, and if we don't wake up, quit majoring in minor things, quit worrying about a plastic straw destroying the world, and look at what's really happening and get our attention to that. Probably won't happen because most people are just mindlessly going along with enjoying this Wuhan waltz masquerade, but it's got to be somebody out there who's going to say, hey, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. This shouldn't be happening. But anyway, take care and bye for now.